Hey, what is going on YouTube? Today we're going to learn about objects inside of C++. Now, if you guys don't know what classes or objects are within C++, just take any object in the real world. I'm going to save time. I'm not going to draw anything. I'm just going to try to explain it to you as best I can. Take any object out in the real world and think of its attributes. So take like a car, a person, headphones, what makes up all that stuff. So like a car, for example, you can number of wheels, number of windows, number of doors, hatchback or not. Anything you could think of, you could turn it into a class object within C++. So without further ado, let's jump right into it without wasting too much time. So creating this class within this C++ file program, we're going to model it after cell phones, which should be fairly simple to model after. It doesn't have very much attributes. It could be screen size, headphone jack for you Apple users, power button, flip phone or not. So we're gonna keep it simple. We're just gonna keep a couple of attributes. Try to keep this under 10 minutes, hopefully. So we got our source file here over in our Solution Explorer. We do need two more files, which we're going to create right now, which we're going to add. I'm going to say a C++ file, which you guys cannot see this because OBS does not capture it, but you will see it populate over here in the Solution Explorer, and we're going to need a header file for our cellphone.cpp file. Alright, I do like to keep my stuff organized. You do have the option to keep this all in one file. You can keep it in two. Now that we have our cell phone files created and our source file, main file, we're going to jump back over in the file. First, actually, I want to jump in the cell phone and do want to create this header class object. Oh, wait, that's backwards. If in def. There we go. That's not what I want. This is just saying if it's not created, then define cell phone. Otherwise, don't worry about creating it. So we're going to use, actually I want to, on a $, that is PHP, include IOStream inside of this. And using namespace.std, which is used to shorthand write out cout, cin, and everything without typing this everywhere. You can just simply type that out. We need our class. Which gives us a cell phone. So now that we have that created, we can jump over to source, and now we can say include. If I can spell include correctly. Cellphone.h, and then we can grab some information from said user. So for a cell phone, we need some attributes. A boolean for headphone jack. We need a string for manufacturer, which is keep mouth. What else do we need? We need, I guess, string for the type. And we'll do a double for the cost. And we'll keep it simple there. I'll just use 4 attributes. That way we don't go too haywired with our object. Now we got that, we can now start reading an input from the user about the phone. So what is the name, or who made your cell phone? Question mark space. We don't want to end line on the end of that because then the user input would be on a new line. Then we see in mouth, and now we see out what is the name of your cell phone. We can see in the type. Then we can say see out, does this phone have a headphone jack? And within that, yes. Or no. And then we'll just change that over to a Boolean. Shorthand that, we'll say y or yes or no. Let's see. Oh, we can't do that just yet. Char headphone. In the headphone, which would be a char, or it's a y or a no. So then if shorthand this, we can say headphone jack. Oops. Headphone equals yes. Then we can say headphone jack equals true. We'll do 1. Or headphone jack, oops, equals a 0. Oh, that's what is the problem. We went for a string. Alright, so then that should set our headphone jack there. And now we can see out what is the cost. Alright, now if we run that, we should see all that information. I'll just put garbage in here. And we exit out. Alright. Now that we have that, we gotta jump back over into our cell phone header file. We need some public and private variables, which private are going to be all those attributes that I listed out in the public file. Public. And really what we can do is say, copy all this, paste that in there, but we don't need the char. Got the Boolean. And I'm putting the m underscore in there, so when we create our constructor classes, not classes, constructor methods, we can actually do that right now. We can say cell phone takes no parameters, and this will take a bool, a string, and a double. That's just letting the compiler know this is what this function is, or method is expecting. And now we need our getters and setters, because since these variables are private, you cannot access them anywhere else. You do have to access them through this cell phone class. We need a bool get headphone jack string We got all the gets. Now we just need the setters, which will set these variables. And these will take parameters of the type. Alright, cool. We got that all set up. Now we can jump over to our cellphone.c++, and then we can say include our cellphone.h. To make this slightly easier, instead of retyping all that stuff, I'm going to take all this, copy it, go ahead and paste it, but now we will have to boolean headphone jack, string mouth, string type, and the double of the cost. Alright, so these are, lets the compiler know that this method is only available to this class object. Otherwise you can't use it or you can't access it. Let's write these out really quick. Jack, string mouth, string type, the double of the cost. Alright, cool. Now for this, empty constructor up here with no parameters. This is for when you create the object with nothing passed to it. Everything is set to a default value. So taking those parameters, we can set them. Default headphone jack, we can say is true. Mouth, we'll say NA for nothing right now. We'll say also do that for the type. And the cost will be $0 because they're not initialized. So headphone jack is equal to headphone jack. To the type, and then we'll say m cost is equal to the cost. So we need to get the headphone jack, so we need a return statement here. We need to say m headphone jack, simply return it. Return m mouth. Return, if I can spell return correctly, m type. And then return m cost. And I can just simply take these one by one and just paste those in here. This allows us to be able to set these attributes on another class, another object of a cell phone, but individually as opposed to all at one time. Everything was working. That's why there was no return statement. That's why everything was broke. So let's go back to new cell phone. So if we don't pass anything to it, and we say cout new cell phone get cost, it should return 0. Yep, 0 right there because we never set it. So this is where all this stuff takes place. because then we'll pass it to the overload function with the variables of headphone jack, mouth, type, and the cost. And then we can say, we can output all this information back to the user and say, you own type made by mouth that cost gotta make sure I don't run out of real estate for you guys on the video. Which I'm doing this all wrong because I need to get this from a cell phone. New cell phone. Get type. Capital P, not lowercase. Oops, I did not want to do that. And this is where we're going to dynamically add the end to it, because if it would depend on if they got a headphone jack or not. So if we say if new cell phone dot get headphone jack, we'll say cout and does have a headphone jack in the line there, or else we say the same thing but does not, which really we can eliminate all this and just change that. Let's try. Oop, we got errors. I forgot the call there to the method. Let's see. We'll say Apple. We'll say iPhone. No. What is the cost of one of these average bad boys? 1,500. We'll just round it up, make it easy. You own an iPhone made by Apple and need a space that costs 1,500 space and does not have a headphone jack. Try this again. Apple. iPhone. No. We'll try something with like 4 cents. You own an iPhone made by Apple that costs $1,500 and 4 cents and does not have a headphone jack. So that is all that's to it. To create a class object in C++, at least get it started. There's a whole bunch you can do with this, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. They are all OOP principles. You can write these differently. You don't even have to have a body. You can append it to the the method itself, which we can look at a later video. But that's all there to it. That is all that is to it to get a class up and going within C++. Hopefully you found this video informative. Thank you for tuning in. See ya.